All right, so it's new for a lot of people. I'll slow down then. So chats, right? Basically, the C in chats stands for color and contrast. Simple, right? And again, this is like more, you have a useful and usable design, let's just make it aesthetic. Just follow this framework to make it that. Color contrast, what does that mean? Who likes this? Why? It's hard to read, right? Anyone actually likes it? We had a couple students that I was like, I fuck with it hard. I was like, hey, chill. How about this?
It's just ugly.
So one thing that I've observed is like, with our like we're so internet native that, like a lot of people ask me, Stefan, how do you develop the design eye? But I think so many of us are spending so much time like consuming content. Like we all have a pretty good fine tuning on what looks good versus what is shit, right? So it's like just be intentional, and anytime you come across like a good piece of content that's like catching it, it's like stopping your scroll. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into it, but just take like a moment of like self-reflection as to like what it is about that actually got you hooked, and then continue on your journey of like doom scrolling. But like that moment, like do not rob yourself from that moment of self-reflection. All right, so in this, both the color and contrast is fucked. In this, the color is okay, the contrast is what's the main issue. So we can just quickly fix that, right? Just like upping the contrast, and this is a whole lot better than this, right? So it's like, and then you can like really play around with it. You can kind of like increase contrast, and then you have a pretty good palette to like fuck with. Cool. All right, H, hierarchy. Super simple. Read this. Yeah, so it's like if there's no obvious like guidance for direction, the viewer is going to go top to bottom, and in most cases left to right. Right? In Arabic countries, it's right to left. So simple to fix. Just make it like it's as if like you're feeding a baby like like mushed carrots. Like, all right, read this one first and then read the rest. And they'll be like, I bet I'm gonna do that. Make sense? Super simple. All right, A is alignment. Just align your shit, super straightforward. This is a bad example of it, obviously. You guys can all look at it as like, you're trash, bro. Even though this is meeting all the color, all the contrast, all the hierarchy, shit's just not aligned. So, simple, align it. You can also center it. You can like then fuck with it like a little bit. But like once you like, again, for next time, I'm gonna do like it's chats with like an asterisk, right? Because like once you understand these principles, then you have like full autonomy to fuck with those, right? But it's like if you don't understand those fundamentals, then it's like you're just like throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. Cool, makes sense. T is typography. This is important, but not that important. But like again, the goal here is to not do stuff like this, where you're just using like 3 different things, even though everything's aligned, hierarchy is there, color contrast is there. It's like just make intentional choices about the things you're doing. In most cases, we use 1, at most like 2 different typefaces. Another bad example. So yeah, just stick to something that yeah.
What's the buildspace font?
It's Manrope. Manrope. Yeah, but we're changing. Anyone figured out the new font yet?
Custom font.
It's I chilled. Custom font. We've dropped it actually.
Dropped it away.
I mean, that's it. So like me with like all this is my art, right? So like I drop hints everywhere. They're sprinkled in. Even before the houses were released, the houses were out in the wild. It's just like, because I'm always looking for that cracked fucking person, right? Who's gonna like decode all of it. Haven't found him yet, or her yet, but the sprinkles are always going to be there in my work. And finally, spacing. This is both letter spacing and line spacing, and I'll talk about both. In this case, what do you guys think is wrong with this one?
Too much space
In the middle, right? So like essentially the line spacing and this is just atrocious. So pretty simple to fix. It also like allows you to like break apart different components where you want people to focus on this, but this is just like a tag. So again, line spacing, letter spacing. There's fancy words for it, right? Design school will be like leading and kind of like, fine, just make it simple. Line spacing and letter spacing. Letter spacing is the space between the letters. Line spacing is the space between the lines. That's it. All right, what's wrong with this? It's just almost there, right? Pretty good for the most part. Right? It's just like give things space to breathe. This is too much space to breathe.
That is cool.
Right? But again, just like be intentional about it. And finally, just try to be consistent because you want people to like associate whatever your art is to you. There's so many times I get tagged and our team gets tagged on Twitter with like random black slides with like white text in the middle because that's so iconic to us. And we're like, bro, that's not us at all. But it's like, that's what you're trying to get, right? It's like that level of consistency where people see something and we're like immediately like, buildspace. They just know it. And first it'll be like in smaller and smaller circles, obviously. Like I'm sure even the way the logo was designed, even a lot of the merch that you guys are wearing, there'll be people that kind of recognize that immediately just because they've seen it. And that's all done by design. So yeah, so once you have this, right, this hits all of the different checkboxes. Then you can like really kind of like go around and just like play. So these would be like the 4 different colors, for example. This was season 4, where again, meeting all the different things, but then you can really like have liberty to like play with it. Make sense? This is Rolexes. I just put it in here for reference because now that you understand chats, right? And I'm just going to quiz a couple. What does H stand for, Michael?
I blanked.
Hierarchy.
Hierarchy.
C, color, contrast, and consistency. A, alignment. T, typography. S, spacing. Super simple. This is like literally a semester's worth of shit. But just, it's easy. Do not overcomplicate it. But once you understand that, you'll start seeing it every time too, right? And again, that moment of self-reflection where you go and be like, okay, they fucked up on the spacing here. But like that's kind of like what's building that and training that eye, essentially. Cool? Another one. So like, if you saw this one and this one, you'd be like, okay, cool, it's still Rolex.